Alright, welcome everyone to a quick tutorial on ILS Instrument Landing System Approaches. The easiest way to do that is using the ILS, of course. There are other different approaches, but I'm going to teach you how to do it here in the TBM, Microsoft Flight Simulator 2020. So to get started, we're going to do a quick 10-minute flight, super easy. Take off from Avon Park Executive and go in International here at Orlando, which is a very large airport. So all we have is we parked here at small. We'll just go automatic right now, and I'll show you the best way to do it. So the first thing we got to do an IFR approach, we had to be on an IFR flight. So there we go, IFR flight. There we go. We'll start cold and dark, and I'll show you how to set up the airplane for this. There are multiple ways to do an ILS approach. In my opinion, the easiest way to do it is go pick a runway. Let's say I want the ILS for 36 right. There we go, approach, and you're good to go. We'll follow the coordinates. There are multiple ways to do this. We can go to the arrivals. We can do the goofy, or whatever it is, the goofy for 36 right. Sometimes they'll bring you to all sorts of crazy places. There's the goofy. There's this other one. I mean, so they're all a bit ridiculous. There's an all, works for all runways. This one here, I mean, all of these seem so crazy to me. So I'm not going to do any of that. We're going to go direct. Okay. And we'll go from there. Now you can go automatic, and you can ask for an ILS for a certain runway, and then you can all tune it in while you're in the air. And I'll show you how to do that as well, but for now we'll go expect the ILS for 36 right. We'll go ahead and pop in. One thing that is very important is to know what to expect on these ILS procedures. For that, I recommend going over to SkyVector. SkyVector is a website that has the full world mapped for all of the flight charts and everything. And you're going to want to use that to know what to do and know what to expect. So we're expecting ILS localizer 36 right, and I'll show you what that looks like on screen now. And this is the approach plate for the ILS and localizer. At the top left you'll see the channel, and the channel is 110.7. That's important, and we'll go into that here in a second. I can't teach you everything about the ILS approach plate, but there are a few things that you'd like to know from it. We'll go more in depth on that in a minute. So we'll go ahead, so we'll start up here, cold and dark in the airplane. We'll turn that off for now. The first thing we want to do is turn our strobe on. We'll go crash bar up, battery, main, aux boost pump on, and we'll turn on our starter. From there, you'll watch your NG rise up at around 8. This will start spinning here. And you're going to watch your ITT for the hot starts and NG for the hung starts. You don't need to worry too much about that. Just keep an eye on them. At around 13, we'll introduce low idle. We're already past 13, but that's fine. And at around 53, or when it gets in the green, which should be around 53, that'll actually be green by 51, we'll introduce high idle. There we go, high idle. To avoid having a hot start, I'm going to go up and over the gate to flight idle, and that is a good start. We'll go here, we'll turn our boost pump to auto, fuel selector, auto, turn on our autopilot. Without this, we cannot use the autopilot. So down here, we'll go ahead and turn our heats on and our inertial separator, and we'll turn our bleed on. Won't go into too much detail about what those do just yet, maybe in another video. Then the last thing on our list here is parking brake. No worries there. First thing we need to do is tune into the weather, also known as the ATIS.
Kilo Alpha Victor Oscar Automated Weather Observation 2000 Zulu. Wind 276 at tree. Visibility niter. Sky condition clear. Temperature 15C dew point 13C. Altimeter 2992.
Altimeter is 2992.
Kilo Alpha Victor Oscar Automated Weather Observation 200.
is our inertial separator warning. No worries there. We'll clear that. And we will get an IFR clearance. We want to take note to what they say.
Radio Dare Alpha Sierra X-Ray Golf Sierra Alpha IFR to Orlando, ready to copy.
Dare Alpha Sierra X-Ray Golf Sierra Alpha is cleared to Orlando Airport as filed. Climb and maintain 5,000 feet. Departure frequency is 134.55 squawk tree 535. Clearance point 30 minutes from now.
Turn that on, and we're squawking that. We're in altitude mode, which is what we want. We'll acknowledge the clearance.
Dare Alpha Sierra X-Ray Golf Sierra Alpha cleared to Orlando Airport as filed. Climb and maintain 5,000 feet. Departure is 134.55 squawk tree 535. Clearance void 30 minutes from now.
So what we're going to do now,
Dare
he's going
Golf
to tell
Sierra
us to go
Alpha read back correct.
to ground. So everything's plugged in. We got 5,000 feet. And departure is this right here. We'll go to that later. There is no ground here. We'll just announce our taxi and everything. And we can take off wherever we'd like. I'm assuming we'll go probably just take off this way. We'll taxi back and take off on this runway here, and then we'll go get in the air and get on the GPS. So for now, let's go back here. We'll go back to, we'll go ahead and plug in our next frequency. So 134.55. We'll click enter, not transfer, because we don't want to transfer just yet. So we're good to go. We'll go back here, see how far I can zoom in. And we will turn this off. We'll take off from runway, let's say, it's going to be the south runway, I guess, so that'll be, I don't know which runway is which, actually. Guess we can take off to the east, that's fine. Alright, go ahead and start our taxi. I'm not going to use the frequency right now because it's an untowered airport. It's not really a big deal. It looks like it's going to make us taxi anyway. And I'll meet you guys when I line up on the runway. Okay, welcome back. We're now holding short of the runway, and we'll go ahead and set up some important things. One important thing to note here is we want to be on the active nav of Flight Management System, which is our GPS. Okay. Next thing we want to do is set up our autopilot so that after we take off, we're good to go. We have 5,000 plugged in here. We'll go vertical speed, and I like to go 2,000. Oh, not negative. 2,000 feet per minute. It's a good climb speed. One thing I like to do is I like to take off in heading mode, and then we'll switch over to nav later. And then yaw damper on. We usually want to wait to take off, but for now we can leave it on. And we should be good to go. Another thing I like to do in the TBM in the Garmin 3000 and 1000 system is go to PFD settings. We'll turn our GPS on here and our nav 1 on here. More on that later. Other settings, wind, option 2. So now we can see our wind. Just like that, we're good to go. Go ahead and turn our flaps on. Down on to takeoff. Turn our nav lights on and our landing lights. So everything looks good to go for takeoff. We're taking, is this 2.3 or 2.8? This is definitely 2.8. Take 2.8 and we'll say departure to the north.
Kilo Alpha Victor Oscar Traffic Day or Alpha Sierra X-Ray Golf
Final
Sierra
clear.
Alpha taking off runway 28 north departure.
Then we'll line up. We'll hold here for a second. I'm going to go into heading mode, and I'm going to bug my current heading right here. Heading mode. We'll fly out in heading mode. Then we'll turn it, and then we'll get on the GPS. I'll explain that later. So we told everyone in the area we're taking off, and we're good to go. So hold the brakes. Full throttle. Pull back the throttle just a tiny bit so we don't overheat our ITT. Looking for 90 on the rotation and 110 on the climb out. 70, 80, and 90. Positive rate, gear up. Climb out at 110 miles per hour. Now we can go autopilot on and just fly the runway heading. Go ahead and zoom out on our screen here. And we can go start turning right. Go flaps up. We're good to go. I hope that taxi ribbon goes away. We'll go contact departure. Switch on over. Contact Miami Center.
Miami Center Dare Alpha Sierra X-Ray Golf Sierra Alpha is climbing through 1,100 feet for 5,000 feet.
Let's listen to what
Dare
they
Alpha
say.
Sierra X-Ray Golf Sierra Alpha Miami Center, continue as planned. Altimeter 29.902.
So just to confirm our autopilot's working, we're on the FMS, which is the GPS. Autopilot yaw number on. Oh, a little too hot. We'll go to climb power. Vertical speed of 2,000 feet per minute up to 5,000. That is really annoying. I'm going to go ahead and turn that off once we get up. So essentially, we'll follow this all the way in to Orlando. Now back to what I said in the beginning on the approach plate. Our localizer number, our frequency for the localizer, we need to tune in to our nav1. Now you can also see, I like to show you this well, you can see our flight plan. It takes a second to load in. You can see we're going pretty much direct there. There's no waypoints, not much going on, pretty simple flight. So we'll go back, go to procedures mode and approach. You can see that is not correct. Although it says it's correct here, I don't know what the issue is. It says ILS 36 right, which is what we selected. Right here, it is not. We want to go to the ILS for 36 right. Then we can take the transition. I don't know yet. Looks like that's the only transition. Oh, 36 right tramp. Now, we want to be careful. When we click load and activate, it's going to reset our flight plan and it might kick us off the autopilot. Nope, all good. There we go. That's what we want. On the FMS, we're good at 5,000. Everything looks good to go. So you just wanted to make sure we had our procedure there working and good to go. And we'll continue to follow the GPS. The GPS will take me all the way in. We do have a couple miles to go. So what I'll do is I'll skip ahead to when we get near to the airport and we start setting up for the runway. I'll see you guys then. Okay guys, before we get to our approach, we're still just took off. I forgot to mention one thing before we get there is the navigation on the frequency. So we'll go to home page, right? We'll go to nav and comm, audios and radios. Now you got our nav 1 and nav 2. On our nav 1, we want to plug in that localizer DME frequency number, as you'll see at the top left of the approach plate. So 1107 in my case. You can click enter, but might as well go ahead and transfer to the active frequency. There you go, 1107. Now, whatever airport you're going to, they're going to have a specific frequency you got to get on. And we're too far from the airport, so on the nav 1 it has no data. It doesn't recognize what our navigation is set to. Don't worry about that just yet. This ILS approach is used by radios and frequencies, not by GPS. So that's why we don't see it yet, is because we're not close enough. And again, I'll catch you guys when we get there. Alright guys, welcome back. We're still on our nav profile. We're now turning direct to tramp as part of our transition. Only thing you missed is we have now contacted Orlando Approach, and they told us to expect the ILS that we chose via the tramp transition, which we already did, and I told them that we acknowledge. And just to confirm that we have that in here, you can see ILS via tramp. Very Very simple. Don't need to change it. It's already in there. We're good to go. Now the TBM is a very fast aircraft, so we want to make sure we maintain and manage our speed appropriately because we're going to come in very fast. Now we want to capture our ILS at 5,000, as you can see on the approach plate. And hopefully the ATC will tell you what altitude to go to, and you just listen to them. So we're going to start pulling back our speed a little bit. We only have 8 miles to go here. Or no, 1 mile. No, hold on, we're going to tramp here. Yeah, 8 miles to tramp. Start slowing down the aircraft here. We really do want to be under 200 knots as we get into their airspace. That's the airspace speed limit. And 250 is the speed limit under 10,000, and then over 10,000 you can go as fast as you want. Go down here, back to our MFD, and we'll go ahead and zoom in so we can get a better picture of all of our different transitions. That looks like a good distance to me. Don't know if we can see the runway just yet. Having trouble spotting it, but no worries. We'll get it in sight soon enough. So still holding at 5,000, we're on our FMS, that Flight Management System, or GPS. Now, what you can see though, is now our nav is working. Our nav, we're now close enough to the airport that it can detect the airport, and we're only 20 miles away. We're almost at tramp. We'll go ahead and continue to slow down. And then as you can see here, if you click on this button down here, or click right here, you can actually zoom in. You can see once we turn to tramp, it's straight in all the way to Orlando. So we'll go back, clear that out. So one thing we can do now is we can go to heading mode. We'll click here on heading to bug our heading. We'll go to heading mode, okay? Now we're going to switch our active nav to the localizer. Now it says localizer now because we're close enough and it spots it. The localizer is the runway heading. As you can see, we're right of the runway. Here's the runway center line, more or less. And as soon as we get in line with the localizer,
Air Golf Sierra Alpha descend and maintain 4,000 feet.
Okay, we're gonna go to 4,000. There's no problem there.
Descend and maintain 4,000 feet Dayer Golf Sierra Alpha.
We'll go down around 1,000 feet per minute. We'll be there in 1 minute. You can get vectors if you need it. No big deal. Oh, oops. Looks like I passed the localizer. There it is. Okay. So I clicked approach mode. It's no big deal. I overshot the center line. Not a problem. Switch back to heading mode on accident. So you click that approach button once you're close enough. And make sure you're on your active nav here. If you stay on the FMS, you won't capture the localizer. I do recommend going to heading mode before you change this because you'll then lose your GPS. So now, this is what you want to see. You want to see green, localizer, and GPS. If it's still white, don't worry. That means you haven't captured the localizer or GPS yet, and you will. So no big deal there. So now we are, and you can see
Air
here,
Golf
this is
Sierra
the
Alpha
glide
descend
slope.
and maintain 3,000 feet.
So 3,000 feet, I'm going to acknowledge, but I'm not going to
Descend and maintain 3,000 feet Dayer Golf Sierra Alpha.
This diamond you want to keep right in the middle here. If it's above you, that means you're too low. If it's below you, you're above the glide slope. This is the glide slope, and we want to keep that matched with our altitude. Okay, there we go. There's our runway, 36 right. We're looking really good. Now's the time that we want to start slowing down. Got our landing light on. This is about the time you want to start getting your gear down and your flaps in. So pull back that power. And you want to slowly speed down all the way in. One thing that's kind of helpful in the
Air
TBM
Golf Sierra Alpha,
is
you
the
are 10
speed buttons.
miles south of Orlando.
Turn them all on. You can
Contact
see them
Orlando
in a
Tower
second.
on 124 decimal tree when inbound on the approach.
1, 2, 4 tree. We'll acknowledge first. Once
Tower
down
on
here.
124
Switch
decimal
over.
3 Dayer Golf Sierra Alpha.
Okay, switch to tower. We'll tell them what's up.
Orlando Tower Dayer Alpha
Go
Sierra
ahead and
X-ray
do a
Golf
gear
Sierra
down
Alpha
and
9
full nozzle
miles
flaps.
south inbound ILS runway
Alpha,
tree
slow
6 right
down.
approach.
And our approach speed is 85
Dayer
knots.
Alpha Sierra X-ray Golf Sierra Alpha Orlando Tower. Cleared ILS runway tree 6 right approach. Altimeter 29er decimal 9er to wind 276 at tree.
Alright, so some important info here. We're clear. On
Cleared
the approach.
ILS runway
We're
tree
not
6
cleared
right
to land
approach
yet,
Dayer
we're
Golf
cleared
Sierra
on the
Alpha.
approach, which we're on. And it'll give us the winds, just a few knots of wind off to the left here, no big deal. And then your altimeter. Now mine's 9 or 2, which is standard. That's because I turned off all the weather and turned off everything else because there is a hurricane here at this moment in time. So I turned off all that. Didn't want to fly through a hurricane on my lesson. We're now under 122. We can do our second notch of flaps. We're going to really slow down, so we want to manage our speed. All I'm doing is just making sure everything looks good and taking care of my speed. Everything else will be taken care of by our airplane. So just to confirm, we got our landing light on, we got our flaps are full, and our gear is down, so we're good for landing. Our separator's on, don't worry about that. If you ever flying through clouds or debris or anything, you want your separator on. Once you're up and out of the clouds and you're trying to go nice and fast, you can turn it off, you'll get a little bit extra power. Okay, going a little too slow here. Watch my speed, want to be at 85 whole way in. Oh, it's already
Dayer
at the
Golf
focus.
Sierra Alpha cleared to land runway tree 6 right.
All right,
Wind 276 at tree.
now we are cleared to land.
Cleared to land runway tree 6 right Dayer Golf Sierra Alpha.
It's really simple, you just gotta take it slow. And it's really important though, because sometimes when you go ahead and you go load in the approach here, it won't always tune your nav radio to the localizer in the ILS approach here. So make sure, look it up, make sure it's all tracking right, doing as it should. And that's all you have to do is just monitor. The aircraft will take care of the rest, you just make sure it's doing the right thing you want. Alright, we're looking good, we're right on the glide slope, we're still on the runway center line, we're holding our exact speed we need, and there's nothing else to do besides land the plane. And we can let this approach take us all the way in to around 50 feet. I like to turn it off, the autopilot, as soon as I get over the numbers right there, or if it's bad weather, I'll turn it off as soon as I can have good visual contact of the runway. I won't go into minimums or anything right now. There are minimums altitudes that you can go to. If you can't see the runway at those minimums, you have to take off and get back out of here, or go around, as they say. And everything is looking really good here, right on speed. We're right on the center line, and we're right on the glide slope. And for a smooth, clean landing, you want to aim at the numbers. You want to point your aircraft right at the numbers and keep the numbers right in your horizon, or pick a spot in the windshield and keep it at that spot. As soon as you get over the numbers, you pull back the power, turn off that autopilot here. I'll turn it off here in just a few moments, and then we want to touch down at that 1,000-foot threshold. Doing good on the speed here. Get my hands on the joystick here. Get ready to cut off that autopilot. Go ahead and cut it off now. Aim for those numbers. Bring it back to flight idle. And we'll pull up. Lost a little bit of frames there, no big deal. We'll hold it off and let her just fall to the ground. Just like that. those. And we'll put it into beta or reverse. Flip the props the other way around. Push the ear instead of pull it. That'll help slow us down and not harm the brakes there. Go ahead, put our flaps up.
Dare Golf Sierra Alpha turn, next taxiway.
Go ahead and turn here. Just like that, guys, you've completed an ILS.
Dare Golf Sierra Alpha, contact ground on 126.4.
It's really simple stuff, nothing too complicated. You just got to make sure you set it up right, and it should take care of the rest for you. Press a couple buttons, that's really all it is. So I really hope you guys enjoyed this. If it was helpful, give me a like, let me know. If you have any questions, I will get to your comments. Stream a couple days a week.
Dare Golf
over on
Sierra
Twitch.
Alpha, acknowledge last transmission.
Alright, okay. And if you guys have any
126
questions, just
decimal
let me
4
know.
Dare
Happy
Golf
to help.
Sierra Alpha.
Thanks for tuning in. I'll see you guys in the next one.